Okay, I'm sorry I didn't write directions. What you need to do is find the vertex on these equations. It's like the middle point, okay? All right, so the vertex, the formula, here's how you write this. It's really easy, okay? Put it right here because you're going to need some workspace. Make an XY coordinate, and this is how you find the vertex. It's like the middle point. To find the x, you're going to be using opposite of b divided by 2 times a. So you want to write that down every time your job's to find the middle. And the y, all you do is plug in for x on calculator. Okay, well, you're like, here's the problem you have, though. This is in factored form. Okay, well, you're never going to be able to find the vertex with it in factored form, so here's what you need to do. Drop your y equals, and then you do the FOIL method. FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. Okay, again, first, outer, inner, last. Okay, so first, I start with, it's like the rainbows, basically. I take 50 times 60. And then I'm going to take 50 times positive 4x, and then that's done with the 50. Now I take negative 2x times 60, and I take negative 2x times positive 4x. You guys got to watch out for the negative, okay? You really do. And all this is doing is setting us up for a story problem later on. That's really hard if you don't do this. 50 times 60 is 3,000. That's going to be 200x, and that's going to be negative 120x. You got to get that in as a negative. You really do. And that's negative 8x to the second. Okay. All right, so I do what I normally do. Oh, yeah, by the way, I should have put 1 powers on these x's. Okay, that's my bad. So those are to the 1 power. All right, now I do what I always do. Some of the powers are the same. So blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. But you got to be careful because now the x to the second's right here. So negative 8. Combine those, add those two. It's positive 80. And then we got 3,000. Okay, now go into this part right here. And now you can use your, because x squared is the a, and x to the first is the b. So now I can do this opposite of b divided by 2 times a. So the opposite of plus 80 would be negative 80, and then 2 times the a, and the a is negative 8. Okay. So we know 2 times negative 8, so you got to find that product first and then divide. So negative 8 divided by negative 16 is 5. Okay. Now to find the y, you just plug in for x on the calculator. So we're going to be replacing the x's with 5. Okay, I'll even put little 5s there. So negative 8 parentheses 5 to the second power plus 80 parentheses 5 and then plus 3,000. Okay, 3,200 is what I got. You're going to get some pretty high answers for y. Okay, done. Okay, now the next one. So make this, and again, you're finding this coordinate that would be the vertex, the middle of the parabola, because it is a parabola because you got x's. You're trying to find the middle of it. That's what you're trying to do, the coordinate point of the middle. Okay, again, the x opposite of b divided by 2 times a, and then y plug in for x on calculator. Okay, so now I got to get this out of factored form and into standard form, okay? And it's just the multiplication. So I take 40 times 80. I take 40 times 4x. And this gets pretty repetitive. You get to a point where you know what you're doing. You can just go work on the problems. Negative 2x times positive 80, and then negative 2x times 4x. You cannot miss the negative on the 2. So 1, 1, 1. That drives me nuts, okay? Pay attention. So it's 3,200. This is 160 with x to the 1. This would be negative 160 with, good, I'm glad I got this problem here. That's going to be negative 8 with x to the second, okay? All right, so blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So x second, well, we got negative 8. Now, if you add your x's here, that's 0, so just get rid of that. And then 3,200 goes here. Now, we have a little bit of a problem here. It's always a is in front of the x squared, but b is in front of the x to the first. Well, the x to the first canceled out. So if you don't have any x to the first, that means you don't have any b. So your b is 0, okay? You don't even waste time with that formula because you don't have a number. Okay, then you plug in for x on the calculator. Yes, you are going to put 0 in there, okay? So I've got negative 8 times parentheses 0, close it, raise it to the second power, and then all you have to do is add your 3,200. Well, that's 3,200. Hey, I got the same answer. Okay, so here's my next one. I'm going to do 4 more. Okay, so this is what I'm finding. The middle, and you got to know your formula for that. X is opposite of b divided by 2 times a, and the y, plug in for x on calculator. Okay, so we need to multiply this out so I actually can have, because right now it's in factored form, I need to get it in standard form, okay? So standard form, right away I know I can write this, okay? That's what standard form looks like. So I have 100 times 50. I've got 100 times negative 2x. I've got 4x times 50. And I've got 4x times negative 2x. Now those x's go to the 1 power. Okay. So this is 5,000. 100 times negative 2 is negative 200x to the 1. And this is positive 200x to the 1. And this is negative 8x to the second. Okay. So x second, you got negative 8. And then negative 200 plus 200 again is 0, so that makes it a pretty easy problem. And then you got 5,000. Okay, now again, you have an a, but since you don't have any x to the first, your b is 0, so that means this whole thing's 0. You don't have to proceed with that. Okay, so put 0 in. The answer is going to be 5,000 because if you take, it doesn't matter if that's the second power because it's still 0. And the product of any 0 and anything is 0. So we're just going to have what's here. Okay, my next one. So here's my vertex. I want it looking like that. And then opposite of b divided by 2 times a will find me the x. Then to find the y, I plug in for x on my calculator. But we got to get this in the right formation. Okay, right now that's factored form with the product of 2 x's. Now we actually have to multiply it out. Okay, I'm sorry about the crappy black staining right there. So I take 120 times 60. I take 120 times 4x to the 1. And then I take negative 2x to the 1 times 60. And then negative 2x to the 1 times positive 4x to the 1. And then we can find our products. So that's going to be 7,200. That's going to be 480x to the 1. That's going to be negative 120x to the 1. Okay. And that's going to be negative 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. So we got negative 8x to the 1. Now for x's, we got to add 480 plus negative 120. 360. Okay. and then 7,200. Okay, so this is the A, and we do have a B this time. So the opposite of positive 360 is negative 360, and I underline that, and then it's 2 and whatever A is. So A ended up being negative 8. So I find that product, that's negative 16, and then I'm going to divide those, okay? And you might get decimals from time to time, but here's what I want you to do with decimals. You need to just write that as 23 if it's 22.5. I want to just put whole numbers in for x, okay? So then I put 23 in, because y, if x is 23, y, I'm going to find what y equals. Use this, so 8 negative times parentheses 23, close it, to the second power plus 360 times 23, close it, plus 7,200. I got a huge answer, but I'm not going to second guess myself, okay? 11,248. I know that looks really goofy, but actually on the story problems, it's going to be quite common, okay? Okay, maybe 2 more. We'll see. Okay. All right, so here, I don't want to do that one. I screwed you up with me writing that. Okay. All right, so this is my coordinate. And for x, we are taking the opposite of b divided by 2 multiplied by a. And to find the y, we replace x on the calculator with whatever I get here. Okay, now you got to get this in the right form. Blank x squared, that's my a, plus blank x plus blank. Okay, so I take 50 times 75. I take 50 times positive 3x. I take negative 2x multiplied by 75, and then I take negative 2x multiplied by 3x. Okay, so all these x's are to the 1 power, okay? So 50 times 75, I don't know that. 3,750. 50 times 3 is 150 with x to the 1. Negative 2 times 75 is negative 150 with x to the 1. That's darn it. And that's going to be negative 6x to the 2. Okay, so negative 6, that's my A. Okay, I have 0, so I don't have a B. So right away, I do need to put 3,750 in. But the opposite of B, well, there is no B, doesn't exist, so that's 0. And then I plug 0 in, and you're going to get this number here, 3,750. Okay, next problem. So opposite of B divided by the product of 2 and A. And then I replace X on calculator, replace it with whatever's here to find what Y equals. Okay, so I do my FOIL, 60 times 40, 60 times 3x to the 1, negative 2x to the 1 times 40, and negative 2x to the 1 times positive 3x to the 1. Okay, that's 2,400. That's going to be 180 with x to the 1. That's going to be negative 80 with x to the 1. And that's going to be negative 6 with x to the 2. Okay, so right here, negative 6, and that is my A number. Now the B's 180 plus negative 80 is 100, okay, and that's my B. And then C is 2,400. Okay, so the opposite of the B, so opposite of plus 200, positive would be negative 200, negative 100, sorry. And then I'm going to be taking 2 times whatever A is, which in this case is negative 6, okay? So that gives me a negative 12 product. Now you're going to get a decimal here, but you need to not write a decimal. Just write 8, okay? It's closer to 8 than it is to 9, so 8 works. And I replace these x's with 8, because that'll find what y equals if x is 8. I'll use this negative 6 parentheses 8 to the second power. Okay. Plus 100 parentheses 8 plus 2,400. Okay, 2,816. Okay, and let's see what I can do here. Okay. So again, the x is found with the opposite of b divided by 2 times a. And then I'm going to be replacing x on the calculator to find y with whatever I get here. Okay, I got to find x before I find y when I'm finding the vertex and middle point. Now we've got to put this in standard form. And we need to multiply this out. Okay, so I take positive 30 times 100. I'm going to be taking positive 30 times 4x to the 1. I take negative 2x to the 1 times positive 100. And then I take negative 2x to the 1 times 4x to the 1. So this is 3,000. This is 120x to the 1, okay? This is negative 200x to the 1. And this is negative 8 with x to the 2, okay? So I've got negative 8. Here's my A. Okay, now with your x's, you got to add. You got to take 120 plus negative 200, and that's negative 80. And then I get 3,000. Now we get a little difference here. The opposite of negative 180 is positive 80. So this time I have a positive in the dividend. And then 2, and then A is negative 8. Okay, so I find that product quick, negative 16. And then I divide 80 by negative 16, and that's negative 5. Okay, now how do you replace x on the calculator with this? Okay, so negative 8 parentheses negative 5 to the second, plus negative 80 parentheses negative 5, and then plus 3,000. Okay, I got 3,200. Okay, now you only have 4 of these to do. Now it will help you a lot when we do the story problem on this, trust me.